All right, hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to Dragonforge After Dark Faction Focus on a Friday. Today we don't have Teacher Mikey with us, but we do have Teacher Erich, who will be joining us as we talk about the Lumineth Realm Lords, my personal pet peeve in AOS. So expect a lot of salt from me this episode. Like there will be mountains of salt, there will be pillars of salt, there will be Lot's wife levels of salt, there will be Garena levels of salt. So there will be Dead Sea levels of salt. So let's get into it.
All right.
Right. Where are my controls? There.
Where are we?
Okay.
There we
Right.
are.
So Teacher Mikey will not be joining us today since he has like personal stuff to deal with. So it's just gonna be the two of us.
Yep, yep. Two hermits are here together talking about
Yes.
a faction full of temples and mountain monks. I think it's appropriate.
And cows. Cows.
Yep,
Very
and
important
cows.
that we are talking about cows. Okay, so tonight on Faction Focus Friday, we're gonna be talking about the Lumineth Realm Lords and different ways to play them. So, what kind of war game fits your lifestyle? Is it gonna be uh, the skirmish game Warcry, or is it gonna be the full AOS game, or why not both? And why is this faction for you or not? So basically, are you a dick or not? And how can you get started fast? And how can you scale up after buying your first few kits? So let's get to it. So, big army or skirmish combat? There are pros and cons to both systems. With the full Age of Sigmar system, you have a big army with lots of models, and it's all about creating that spectacle. And like we have lots of diorama set pieces, terrain pieces, gods, monsters, dragons, and it's gonna be a huge investment in terms of playing time and assembly time and painting time. It takes longer to play, of course, because there are more models. It takes longer to assemble because again there are more models. It's not necessarily expensive depending on which route you go, but it is going to be more expensive than the skirmish combat, which is Warcry, which is a small squad with just a few models. You can usually get started playing with just a single box. It's up close and personal. Each individual model does not go uh, well, it's not squad based combat anymore. It's each individual model doing each
Mhm.
individual model things.
It's not a 4x6 table, it's a
Yeah,
much smaller
it's a
table.
tiny model. It's a small investment. It's smaller assembly time because it's less models. It's less playing time because again it's less models, and the system itself makes for incredibly fast-paced combat. And Mikey particularly has this gotta catch 'em all mentality where he has to collect every single model available for
It's
Warcry.
it's quite easy to fall into it, having
Yeah,
now experienced it myself.
yeah. But here's a note: you don't have to. You can just get the
Mhm.
stuff you need or want. Like, for example, Kesh does not like the Black Knights. Kesh does not use the Black Knights. Kesh did not get the Black Knights. And this is me who collects like all the death factions except for the crazy ones who think they're Bretonians. So we're gonna say hi to our regular viewers, Jonathan Lansang and Michael Lim.
Hi, Michael.
Yeah. So what are the Luminous Realm Lords? If you're just looking at the models and coming from Magic the Gathering, you're gonna see a lot of sphinxes. You're gonna be seeing a lot of blue, a lot of white, a lot of elves. So you're gonna be thinking it's the Azorius Senate, but on drugs. Because actually, they are the Azorius Senate and literally on drugs. And it shall be discussed to us by Teacher Erich with some interjections by Kesh.
Okay. It's a good. This is now where I actually can start understanding what any of that means. The whole Azoria Senate thing just goes straight over my
Yeah,
head
Azorius Senate
as a
basically
non-magic
means
player.
like we are the law and like they like order and magic and generally like writing the laws and seeing them enforced.
Ah, okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, so I can talk about it now in terms of AOS terms. Um, Before we can get really into the whole identity of the Lumineth Realm Lords, we have to look first at their twin gods, Teclis and Tyrion, who themselves are survivors from the world that was when that ended. Um, and then they
Thanks,
woke up
Manfred.
ex Manfred.
Thanks,
What was that?
Manfred.
Sorry. Oh,
Thanks,
last
Manfred.
week. we carried over Manfred also, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And when they woke up, they ended up joining Sigmar's Pantheon of Order, and like the old school one that still had Nagash and Gorka Morka. And together they decided, okay, let's make these realms a nice place to live, and let's populate them with our people. Unfortunately, to Teclis, populating them with our people to him meant, um, let's bring in my people exactly as they were back in the old world because they were perfect and I will accept no substitutes. Um,
Yeah, unfortunately, they were all swallowed by Slanesh during the end times, so
yeah,
they currently existed in Slanesh's belly.
which is actually what the next slide will show. If you go over to the next slide, you'll see that, yeah, here we are. So there's Slanesh. When Teclis had this great idea, Teclis representing the magical half of the elves, and then Tyrion the martial physical half of the elves.
Yeah,
When
totally
Teclis
not
had
a
this great
Republic
idea,
Dragon lance.
yeah, they're basically even Teclis had a what's this? Teclis was also quite sickly, so it's the same condition
Yeah, of
as
Caraman, yeah. Yeah,
Caramon and
Caraman and
Raistlin.
Raistlin.
Yeah. But anyway, so Tyrion hears that his brother Teclis has this great idea, and he's like, "Oh, brother, I have a gift for you. Our old enemy, Malarian, and I got together, and we found the demon who ate all of our people, and we've chained him in a realm between the realm of light and the realm of shadow. Let's work together and let's get back the souls of our people and make them exactly as they were." So the three of them all gathered here in this place between realms where they have Slanesh, who they captured. I believe he was taking a nap at the bottom of an ocean.
Yeah, he was taking a food coma after swallowing
Like
all the
a,
elf
like a
souls.
10,000-year-old food coma, yeah.
Hmm.
Because he had eaten that many elves in the past. And so they basically began doing a magical liposuction of him. And they
Hmm.
started pulling out elf souls. The first few that came out weren't great. They were already corrupted by Slanesh. They had like snake tails and bat wings, and one of them was Morathi. So that tells you the quality of elves they got from this first batch. Um, and Teclis was like, "I want nothing to do with these." And Morathi was like, "Please give them to me. Let me lead them." So he was like, "Fine, take these rejects out of here." Um, the next set they brought out were not high elf souls, but they were still elf souls and they were less corrupted. And Teclis was like, okay, I can try work with these. So he started molding them into elf people. And unfortunately, too much of a tiger mom. Teclis began expecting, yeah, this is about the sea elves, Michael, expecting too much from these elves whose souls were never high elves. He he began abusing them. He was like, "Why can't you do magic properly? You look at your brother; he does magic perfectly, but you do not." Right? But he's not even talking about his brother. He's talking about some fictional person that they don't remember from the distant past of a world that's dead. And those elves, tired of being compared, had planned to leave. Yeah, Teclis does play favorites, and it was probably good that they were planning to leave because Teclis had become so sick of them that he confided in his brother that he wanted to kill them all and restart again. And Tyrion thankfully talks him out of this, but at that point, these elves all ran away to the bottom of the ocean to where they felt Teclis could not find them. And they formed their own culture, which becomes now the Idoneth Deepkin. Right? So we'll put them away now for now. They keep digging into Slanesh's stomach, and then finally, Teclis is able to create, having learned from his first few failures, the perfect elves who, like him and his brother, are obsessed with perfection in magic, perfection in fighting, and he thinks everything's going to go great. He gives them a system of enlightenment called the Teclian Ladder, which he expects them to rise in, to try be more like him. And they succeed in doing this, but unfortunately, um, they go too far. Right. So let's go over to the next slide,
All right.
and here you'll
Just as
see
a
exactly what went wrong. Oh,
all
but
right.
you have an
Just as a
interjection.
side note, those obelisks were totally ripped off from Nagash because Teclis is a dick. Just as a heads up,
Teclis and
like,
Nagash don't have a good relationship in
well, that's
AOS.
because Teclis is a dick, Nagash is a dick, so it's like a
Mhm.
dick fest. And as a note for everyone concerned about Slanesh, na, oh no, Slanesh was chained and forced to like regurgitate souls. Knowing Slanesh is probably enjoying this. So,
I don't think Celestial's even conscious. I think he's still in. Oh, they're still in that food coma.
well, Slanesh is awake now, isn't he? She it?
Ah, yeah, Slash is awake because Morathi woke up Slanesh by
Yeah,
trying
and
to pull out more essence to make herself a god. So now she's
yes.
the fourth of the elven gods. Yeah. Ah, okay, so
All right.
here is precisely what went wrong. The elves, in their attempt to become perfect, also began. Um, let's term it Olympics when
They
you
started
use the
doping.
performance enhancers. They started doping. They
Yeah.
realized that the realm stone of the realm of light, Hish, Aether Quartz, was a performance enhancement drug, and they realized that, oh, if we keep using this, we'll become even more perfect. So while while this helped them at first, the rest of the mortal realms are facing the Age of Chaos. Archeon is winning. Archeon never breaks into Hish because the elves are pretty good at defending themselves. Um, when Chaos does break into Hish is when the elves um, use the drugs too much and begin having competitions on who can make the better doomsday device. So the elves escape the greater apocalypse and then end up creating their own apocalypse, which is called the Spire Fall, or in Elven, the Okari Dari. And in doing so, the forces of chaos find their way into Hish. The elves are destroying themselves, killing each other. You can see that photo. That photo is actually of the Okari Dari, right? You have one like very proud looking man, and everyone around him's in ruins, and he's not even thinking about the problem because he's so high. He
Yeah.
thinks,
Yeah.
yes, I have proven my superiority. And
With all the drugs that I have snorted.
yeah, because the way Aether Quartz works is it takes away your negative emotions and makes you only feel positive, uplifting emotions. And well, for the
So it's
elves,
cool,
that
basically.
basically, I
Yeah.
wouldn't know. These are not things I know what are. Just disclaimers.
Yeah. In the words of a certain senile old man, wag mong susubukan. Masisira ang buhay mo. Don't do drugs, kids. Like, stay away from the drugs.
Now, Michael Lynn
Yeah.
is pointing out that doubts and schemes are Tzeentch's thing, and that's true. But the one who preys more on the elves is the person whose
Slanesh.
stomach they spent the most time in, which is Slanesh, right? So this is
Hmm.
also the that little sliver of Slanesh still left in them manifesting. Um, Teclis, seeing this devastation wrought upon his people by his own people, finally feels something I don't think he's ever felt before, which is humility. He realizes that his great perfect peoples have screwed up, and as a result, him as the father has also has some responsibility in this. So he goes off into the void of space to meditate and to try figure out how he can solve this problem. And because for the first time he's not thinking only of himself, he's able to perceive the spirits of Hish. Most prominently the spirit of the true moon of Hish, Selenar, who is a very large sphinx. Selenar appears to him and tells him, Teclis, I can help you solve this problem, but we're going to have to work together, and you're going to have to keep in mind this new emotion called humility that you are now feeling. And Teclis, who's desperate to save his children at this point, goes, okay, you know what? I will work with you, strange moon sphinx. I'm pretty sure after several days of meditating that I am sober now and you're not a hallucination.
Yeah,
Right? So
it really disturbs me that Teclis didn't figure out that like all of the elves were destroying each other with doomsday devices until after it happened. Like, dude, what kind of a dad are you?
he's a terrible dad. He's
Like, I
really,
mean,
really bad.
Nagash is an excuse. Whenever shit falls down, he's usually dead. So, right? Shit does
Yeah.
not go wrong when Nagash is not dead. Except when Manfred does some dickish thing again.
That's Manfred's role.
Yeah, it's
I
Manfred's
think
doing.
Manfred is an aspect of Nagash also because Nagash made him, right? So I mean, Nagash only has himself to blame for Manfred at this point.
That's true. Should totally just kill Manfred.
Yeah, I think so. Just like absorb him again.
Like for the good of literally everyone in the realms, just
Just get rid of Manfred.
no more Manfred.
We saw what he did last time, right? We don't want to
Right?
repeat that
He
again.
literally ended the world by being a dick.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so
So
anyway,
here we go.
yes, okay, here, yeah, we're here, right? So Teclis comes back to his people. He tells them about um, his great revelation, and he goes through something called the reinvention, where he gathers the elves together and tells them that, okay, now we are the Lumineth Realm Lords. And we add in the Realm Lords because we are going to work together with the spirits of the realm. We will be caretakers of the realm. We will take care of the place we live in and not bomb it with all of our bad inventions. And this is actually the part of the Lumineth I like the most because for the first time in Warhammer history, I feel the elven race of a Warhammer world um, have escaped their doom in some way. It's not perfect. They're still working on it, but it's not like the Eldar who are fated to be doomed, and it's not like the High Elves of Ulthwain who also were cursed, right? The curse of Anarion were
Yeah,
cursed
yeah.
to also doom themselves. So the nice thing about AOS is themes is that they've moved it to a point where okay, elves are actually it's actually possible for elves um, to not succumb to this doom. But
Well,
to do that, they have to
considering
subordinate themselves and put away their egos.
yeah, but considering like all of this is literally the same thing that happened with the wood elves in the world that was,
Oh,
where
that's
they
true.
started like making alliances and um saying hello to the spirits of the forest, like
Mhm.
Durthu and the Oak of Ages and all of that. Though right now they're just kind of xenophobic in new AOS,
Uh,
which is weird, but okay.
yeah, considering
Yeah,
they embraced all these other things, right? But yeah, that's true. I
yeah,
forgot about the Wood Elf.
yeah, yeah. The difference between like the main difference between the Wood Elves and the Lumineth Realm Lords are the Lumineth Realm Lords actually um, became better by embracing that most pivotal and important aspect, the cow.
Yes, the cow, the mountain
Yes,
cows.
yeah. Once you have embraced the cow into your heart, everything is good. You will achieve nirvana.
Yeah. And the reason the Lumineth are appearing now is one, they're banding together. Most of their realm is still sort of overrun by chaos. They still have to reclaim that. But the other reason they're out now is because Nagash did his big necroquake, and they decided, okay, we can't just stay in Hish, right? Because stuff that happens outside of Hish, like Nagash, will eventually affect us. So they're now trying to go out there. Unfortunately, even though they're trying to be better people, I feel they're also going out there to try to be world police. So it's
Yeah.
uh, it's a mixed
Imagica,
bag.
fuck yeah. And may I just note that Nagash did not cause the necroquake. It was the Skaven who caused the necroquake. Just putting it out there.
Nagash never accounts for Skaven.
Right? It's like it's the Skaven who perpetually fucks up his plans. Like just account for the rats,
Like
man.
you'd think he'd have learned by now, but I think it just keeps falling off his mental shelf.
It's like, oh, rats, right? I feel like he keeps suppressing, like, oh, rats. Like, no, no, we do
I
not
guess
think
so.
of rats.
Yeah,
Like, I
it's a.
pretend I do not see.
But then they just keep coming for him.
Right?
Uh, yeah.
Oh, the rats.
So maybe Nagash also has to meet a moon spirit to help him overcome his greatest shortfall.
Or a psychiatrist.
That's what the moon spirit is in this
Hmm.
case.
A sphinx psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Hmm. That makes a lot of sense. Teclis went to therapy.
Yep. Basically, yes.
And his entire elven race went into rehab.
Yep. And they learned that everything is connected, so they really have to behave. In fact, if you look at the Lumineth symbol, you'll see it's also a combination of ideas, right? It's all the
Yeah.
different runes put together: zenith,
Swirly,
wind,
swirly.
mountain, river. Yeah. So they're
Right?
learning, oh, the world is interconnected. But yeah, we can move forward. What's next? Oh, it's me. Okay. So
Yes, it you.
building and painting Lumineth. I was telling Kesh earlier that when I started playing Warhammer, um, one of the first armies I really wanted to build were High Elves. But High Elves, despite the the lack of population in the Elven race, much like the Lumineth, are strangely also a horde army. And this is particularly true in Warhammer
Yes.
Fantasy Battles, where everything is
Gods,
just
yes.
units upon units upon units. And as a young painter, I picked them up and I couldn't paint them properly because they have so many small details and fiddly bits. It drove me mad. Um,
Yeah, and this was before contrast. So,
this was before
God,
contrast.
yeah.
Yep, yep. So that was a pain.
Yeah,
The
I had the
Lumineth
same
right
thing.
now have the same have a similar problem. They're full of details that can seem quite intimidating. Um, if you look here at the image, right, these are three of my wardens. You have one of my cows there and a blade lord there,
Ooh.
and you can see they have helmet frills. They have little tassels. They have long, annoying pikes, right? So when you build them, it is something you have to be careful of, just to make sure they don't break. They feel rather fragile, but I come from playing dwarves, where everything's a potato,
Yeah.
so it was a big jump. But thankfully, as you mentioned, right, we now live in a time of contrast paints. So if you go over to the next slide, you'll see here I've put some yellow on one of my sentinels here, and that's a contrast paint, and that just went on once with some mediums, and I was
And you're
done.
done.
I'm done, right? So I'm trying again to make an army out of the elves, and I'm using contrast. I think 80% of the way. But the other thing I'm trying with the Lumineth now is the
Yeah,
first time I've
same
tried
thing with
doing
my death.
with your death.
They're just
Is that your
yeah,
skeleton? Oh, that's from
they're
Vex
80%.
Village.
Yes, and this lady, Belladama Volga, she's like
Oh,
80% contrast except for the
hmm,
metallic bits.
except for the metallic bits. Okay, yeah, contrast is such a game changer.
It is.
It is.
It just makes painting so much easier. And I
Yeah, and
also
like it's
started
not.
with high elves, so gods.
Uh,
If I had this
we
back
both
then,
made the same mistake.
yes.
Yeah,
But their lore and their fluff is so nice, but then like when you actually start,
painting them.
yeah, it's a pain.
But now it's very doable,
Hmm.
and it's also the first time I'm trying the light, like just going pure. Like here's a cream primer. I'm gonna I'm gonna paint from this and not from a black up zenithal white. So it's turned out all right so well so far. If you go to the next slide, you'll see my one finished Lumineth, right?
Yeah,
And
like this is actually on awesome. And like Eric, I have to say, you paint some of the best terrain that I have ever seen.
thank
Yeah.
you. So here, right, like the shields, those are just contrast. That's a skeleton horde and
Oh,
medium,
okay.
right? I didn't want to have to like paint especially for big flat surfaces. I just want to be like, okay, you're done. And
And the
what else
cloth
is contrast?
areas, those are also contrast.
No, that's more traditional. But the
Mm, I
browns
see.
are more contrast.
Aha, yeah, I can
Yeah,
tell that's Gorgrunta fur.
yeah. The browns are all contrast. So the thing I like about contrast is when I first started using it, I just used it everywhere. And then as I started using it more, I realized, oh, okay, I can now mix it in with my traditional
Yeah,
style, and it
definitely.
saves so much time. And you'll need that with Lumineth because they are surprisingly a horde army.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things you can do with contrast, but there are some things that contrast just cannot do.
Hmm.
Like it doesn't do metallics very well. It doesn't have metallics at all.
It doesn't have
Though you
metallics.
can do have NMM, but metallics are still metallics. And there are some effects that you just can't capture without doing additional layers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can also just contrast and then do a layer above it. That's fine.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
totally fine. Or a dry brush.
Yeah. Or a dry brush, true. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Lumineth on the tabletop. This is primarily for the AOS side of things, so this is big army. The Lumineth play style. This is all theoretical at this point. I have not been able to play any Lumineth, but I have been following podcasters and communities that talk about it. Are a scalpel army, meaning their play style is mostly to identify what in your army, their opponent's army, is a valuable support piece and knock it out before you can really benefit from it. So they'll remove all of your supports through very precise strikes, which they can do because they can shoot 30 inches without line of sight
Yeah, and with mortal wounds.
and
So
with mortal wounds. So they're that sort of army where they don't have a large damage output, but they have targeted damage output, so they can remove your support pieces. One thing I
that's a
like
lie. They
about
have
the
lots of
Lumineth
damage output.
One thing I like about the Lumineth is that everything in their lineup is potentially a good option. This gives you a lot of flexibility in your list building. It lets you build the army you most want to see and lets you win a few times with that army. Um, but they're also active in all the phases of the game. So there's a lot of rules knowledge you need to make them work. You need to know all different kinds of interactions. They'll move in the magic or hero phase. They'll move in the shooting phase. They'll do stuff in the combat phase. Every phase you're busy with Lumineth. Who would you consider Lumineth's worst enemy?
Personally, I think it would be an Archeon-led force,
Hmm.
specifically because most of their damage output is mortal wounds, and Archeon does have a lot of mortal wound canceling, and also the Slaves of Darkness have a lot of mortal wound canceling. So it's probably, I would say, an Archeon list,
An Archeon list.
or like 30 Blood Knights, but 30 Blood Knights are everyone's nightmare.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why they're still sold out. Blood Knights.
They are, they are.
It's ridiculous. I think KO are pretty good into Lumineth also because KO has enough damage output to remove the units.
Yeah, that's a big if you get the first turn.
That's true. It depends on who goes first.
Yeah, yeah. That's the problem with these like super alpha strike shooty armies. If you
Well,
get the
not
first
really.
turn, it decides a lot.
The first turn against KO won't determine it because they'll just go into the corner. They'll deploy into the corner. They'll try get the second turn to get the double turn. So they'll still be out of range for the most part. Cruel.
Cruel Boys, I'm not sure because we haven't seen them on the tabletop yet. But
I haven't
Iron
really
Jaws
looked at the
will,
rules.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cruel Boys actually look like they're good against monsters, so against a techless list maybe, or like with many cows. But otherwise, you're gonna have a bad time. Iron Jaws are just straight up gonna have a bad time because they're gonna get shot to death.
They're gonna get shot. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna be actually better off with the Stripper Boys because of their ward save.
The Savage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the
I see
Stripper
that.
Boys.
Yeah.
And the Stripper Boys also have like significant levels of shooting.
Hmm.
So there's that.
Okay, we'll get into
Okay.
that. We're going to go
Yeah.
down to NPE. We'll get there
Yeah.
very
But the answer
soon.
is Kesh, by the way. The answer is Kesh.
Answer is Kesh. Okay, so the Lumineth are very reliant on synergy. You have to know a lot of the rules to make them work for
Mm,
you. They cause a lot of mortal wounds, and that's not something a lot of the other armies have at the moment. Mortal wound generation. The problem is the Lumineth do it at range,
mm.
right? So this is where we're going to a potential for NPE. Michael Lim says, "Who do you think would really hate playing against the Lumineth?" The answer is anyone who cannot reply to a ranged army. It's the same problem that happens with Caradron Overlords because AOS, I feel, hasn't really built its ranged and anti-ranged options
It
too
hasn't.
deeply yet, right? I think this is the addition that has to happen, um,
Yeah,
and it
just
is
the mere fact
sort of
that it
slowly
happens at 30 inches away and mortal
no line of
wounds
sight.
and out of line of sight is just eternally crazy. That's
Yeah,
actually what makes them like really broken.
yeah. The Sentinels are the problem child of this faction, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, who won't like to play against them is anyone who, if you bring a lot of Sentinels, will just be spending the whole game on their phones, checking social media because there's nothing they can do against the elves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is something that I think if you want to play Lumineth, you have to watch out for. Um, I think it's okay to, especially if you've painted all those Sentinels, you can bring them to the table, but maybe just bring them to the tournament tables. Don't
Yeah,
bring them against your friends, or you will no longer have friends.
indeed.
Yeah. But the good thing is that their options are so good that you can build any other list without Sentinels, and you can still have a good time with your friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's basically if you want to have a balanced game, just don't spam the sentinels,
Yeah.
and you'll keep your friends, and it's only a casual salt at you like at high levels, but he will salt at you in a friendly way, as opposed to if you bring sentinels, he will salt at you. He will throw rock salt at you. Yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, unfortunately, as this is mostly theoretical on my part, I don't have the answers to all these very specific questions.
right. I've actually been looking a lot of tournament statistics that have come out, and
Mhm.
bad matchups for Lumineth are basically everything. Yeah, it's actually better to ask what are good matchups against Lumineth.
Soulblight
But
Gravelords,
yeah, specific builds of Soulblight Gravelords, and
Blood Knights.
yeah, specifically Blood Knights. Blood Knights
Yeah.
are like a nightmare for anyone to deal with because there are just so many of them. They don't rely on support,
Mhm.
and I believe certain builds of Chaos, Bellacore centric builds or Archeon centric builds can shut down a Lumineth army,
Mhm.
and that's really about it.
Yeah.
Caradron, it depends on who goes first, and yeah, it really depends on who goes first and who gets to like obliterate a significant
Who gets the
portion of the
Alpha
enemy's
Strike?
firepower. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's super heavy on Alpha Strike, which was really unhealthy in like previous editions of 40k that they had to tone it down. So I feel like they do need to tone down the Alpha Strike potential of some armies.
Yeah. Or
Sons
at
of
least give
Behemoth,
all the other armies a lot of response options.
yeah, Sons of Behemoth. If the Lumineth army has enough to deal 35 wounds a turn, the Sons of Behemoth player has already lost.
I read somewhere someone was asking about us as a Sons of Behemoth player wanted to play against another Lumineth player's like grossest list, which was 80 Sentinels. He was like, I want to see what this rubbish is about. And so he played against them, and the Sentinels were able to take down like one or two giants a turn. And he was like, "Oh, okay, I see it now.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see what all the hullabaloo is about."
If you can take down like two Mega Gargants a turn, like there is something wrong, fam.
Yeah,
Okay. So shall we move on to Lumineth
yeah.
in skirmish combat?
Okay, so
All right.
Lumineth and
So
skirmish combat.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mikey was supposed to talk about it, but Mikey is not here tonight.
Hmm.
So we're gonna be talking about this instead. Lumineth and skirmish combat is very diverse in terms of most of their units are in here, and most of their cavalry are also in here. all you really miss out on are the big cows, tech lists, some big monsters, and like the flying fox, I believe.
Yeah, no foxes.
Yeah. So it's very diverse. You actually have a variety of playstyles and builds. So Eric, what's your build for Skirmish Lumineth?
Oh, okay, so what's mine? I have Sonari Cathalar, which we'll go into later. It's one of the wizard units that takes the bad emotions of Blue Lumineth and gives them to the enemy.
Is
Um,
this Mr. High Heels, or
no,
is
that's
this Miss
Caligray.
Crying Lady?
This is the high
The
level
Crying Lady.
painter one. Yeah, the crying
Yeah, Crying
lady.
Lady.
So there's one of her. I have two small cows because they do massive damage with their hammers. But they're slow. They're slow like dwarves, like Dwarden. Then
Slow
I
like
have
cow.
three wardens with the spears because those spears are 3 inch reach. If you climb up a building to run away from them, they'll still poke you. And two sentinels who in Warcry are not very good. And then as a guest ally, I also brought in a Slant Star Master. So the interaction
Oh,
there is the Slant Star Master is a 35 wound unit in Warcry, and I put him in positions where he's going to get hit. And then the Cathalar will take has an ability where she can count the number of wounds on a friendly model. She'll take that many dice and roll it against another model within 12 inches of her. And for every 4+ that she rolls, you will take 1 damage.
that's kind
So
of
my wife
gross.
was playing Warcry with me. I did this to her. She's sighing right now. I hear her behind me.
Yeah, I heard the
And
sigh.
and I ended up doing 16 damage to her tiger, her ramhorn tiger from Untamed Beast, and she was like, "What is this?" She was so
All
upset
right,
by that.
Eric's wife, if you can hear me right now, if he does it again, make him sleep on the couch.
I almost got banished. It's true. The other thing the Slant Star Master does in that list is it teleports the cows. So
Oh my god,
you can
teleporting cows.
you can deliver those hammers directly to where they need to be, and it's quite nice. But anyway, that's my skirmish list. It does involve an outside factor, which is the
The
frog,
Star
but
Master, yeah.
it's mostly the Cathalar there who's the thing to be careful of.
I'm honestly surprised that the Slan are in like Warcry, but that's for a Seraphon episode. Preferably with Mr. Doctor when he finally has assembled and painted his fix,
Well, I mean, the
which we
Great
will constantly
Gnashtooth
build him
Cruel
over.
Boy is also in Warcry, and I don't know
He
why.
is?
Yes,
Why?
it's I don't know. They just
Tell me
decided
why.
whatever's in the Dominion box we want to put in Warcry. They took out Yndraste, but they put in the Gnashtooth.
But why? All right, so we've already discussed how Luminous plays
Yeah, I
in
think
Big Army. Yeah.
yeah, I think
So
we talked about this.
it's generally you take your battle line of choice. It's gonna be some wardens and it's gonna be some sentinels or a lot of sentinels if you're an asshole. And
Hmm.
then you can add in your flavor of either cavalry. You can add in your flavor of cows. We're gonna be discussing this more on the start collecting section later on how you can scale up, how you can build.
Yeah,
So we're gonna talk about like the big army game types. Okay, so at different points levels, you do have to take note that you need a different number of leaders, a different number of battle line units, behemoth, artillery, and the spells, etc., etc., and at different table sizes and different game times. So the smallest game size for match play is 750 points, but it's important to note that if you're playing a Path to Glory campaign, the smallest is a 600 points.
100.
So that's just gonna change a bit, and
And that's enough
that's
for a start collecting box.
yeah, it is enough for a start collecting box if
Yeah,
Lumineth had one.
yeah, they don't.
Yeah, so you start with 1 to 2 leader units, but you should definitely fill up your battle line first. So we're gonna talk about that once we start talking about what to buy. But the answer is Vanari Wardens.
Yeah,
Right. So sub-factions. Take
Okay,
us
so
away.
here, so the sub factions of the Lumineth faction represent each of the 10 paradises of Ish, which, if you divide them in hemispheres from what's that way? West to east. In the west are the Tyrionic nations, which are more martial, and in the east are the Teclian nations, which are more magical. The ones I'll highlight the ones of note right now in 3.0. Ilithia, uh, Ilatha, sorry, Ili. How do I pronounce this?
Ilyatha.
Iliatha. There we are. Yeah, metric. Yeah, Iliatha is the nation that still uses cloning. So a lot of the Iliathians have twin doubles, like test tube twins, and their main draw in 3.0 right now is that if you use a command point to make one Venari unit um, do a command point action, another unit that's nearby that can see them can do that same action for free. So you're spending one command point to get two command abilities out of it. And right now that's incredibly good. You can have two. Am I muted?
No, you're not.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Banzai
Yeah.
bot on YouTube cannot hear someone.
Hmm? We're not muted. Like we can
Yeah.
hear, and
It
like
says
all the
here that
audio is
we're
working. Yeah.
yeah.
Can you check?
Okay.
Maybe it's your settings.
I'll just see on mine, but I think I am working.
Okay.
Toot, toot,
Banzai
toot. Yeah,
Bart,
it's working for me.
it may be your settings, my friend. Let
Yeah.
me put that on a banner for you.
Okay, yeah. Let's do that for him. So Iliatha is good because of that interaction with command abilities. Um, CR, I don't remember what they do. Emetrica is the faction that the paint jobs are all about. And I think the main thing I remember them for is that if you are a small cow, you will ignore -1 rend. But if you're a Metrican small cow, you will ignore -2 rend. So that makes you a lot more tanky. Zytrek is the magic nation, so I think all wizards get extra spells. They get extra unbindings. They they get a bonus, I think, if Teclis is there, but that might be wrong. And because a lot of your units are wizards, this is usually what I see people play and then put down prized sorcery for their additional VP at the end of the game. Illumina, I can't remember. Helon is the one I see the most. This is the one that is based on the wind, on sentinels, on wind chargers, and on foxes. So Helon basically will buff your range, which in a faction with already buffed range is
Pretty
quite
crazy.
scary. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
think the main ability with Helon is that you can shoot and you can move, and then it'll let you move far away from all the enemies again.
So, question: why are the other two like crossed out?
They haven't been released yet. We have
Oh, so
four Teclian nations, which are the first four, and then two Tyrionic nations, which are Illumina and Helon.
okay. So we're expecting these two more things.
Yeah, and they might show up later, but at this point, I think it's very far later. They'll also be having probably the Zenith Temple and the River Temple, which we don't have
Ooh,
yet. Yeah.
sounds very weeb.
Well, I think the person who made the Lumineth lore really loved Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah. Um. Hopefully not the Shyamalan one.
No, no, not that one, definitely.
All right.
Okay.
So
So I think we can move out of sub factions. I'm sorry I'm very
right.
sparse on the rules. The rules are the one thing I haven't had time to really put in my brain as a player because it's
Plague.
it's Nurgle's time. Okay, so rule of cool, of course, and Lumineth facilitate this greatly. Play what you want. There are so many options in Lumineth. You don't only need to play Sentinels, but they're an option if you think they're cool. And if you're willing to paint all of them, I'm okay with that.
I am not, by the way, just saying that.
All right, so we'll talk about the Lumineth units in two waves, right? And the waves they were released in. So first we got wave one. Wave one we got Daddy Techless, right? Bad Dad, um, and Selenar. Selenar, who I think is um, the better half of Techless at this point in time. Then you have
Yes.
we got the Venari backbone in the first wave, the Wardens, the Sentinels, the Dawn Riders, and we got given the Alarith Temple, which are basically Earthbenders that like cows. And we also got the Endless Spells for that first wave. I think a lot of our problems with the Sentinel spam is with this first wave because we didn't really have a lot of options, and so a lot of people bought lots and lots and lots of Sentinels in this wave. But we can go over each unit, and then we'll talk about the second wave afterwards. So let's go over. This is the order they appear in the book. We first have Archmage Teclis and Selenar, the spirit of Hish, or the spirit of the true moon of Hish. This is a very large centerpiece model. Um, if you want to run Teclis, you only need to buy it once, of course. I'll let Kesh talk about the magic card, as that's not my wheelhouse.
Right. So basically, Teclis looks like the design for Teclis looks like a rip-off from the Azorius faction of Ravnica.
Oh, so
So like,
you put the symbol back in, yeah.
yeah, I mean like that's basically it. Like the colors are right, and like they do have like lots of sphinxes. Like I believe their current faction leader is a sphinx, and it's all the same themes and everything. When we first saw the faction come out and the tech list come out here, and with all the owls, oh it's Azorius. They're Azorius elves. So yeah, and as you can see here, is incredibly broken, and he just counters all the spells. And if counter target spell, put all your friends in the graveyard because you will lose your friends.
More than just countering your spells also, Teclis can choose to cast like say one spell or two spells and deny you the ability of countering him.
Right.
Yeah. And put all
Yeah.
your friends in the graveyard.
Yeah, put all your friends in graveyard. You're not gonna have friends. But if you're like thinking of playing competitively, or if you really do like the model, or if you're an Azorius fanboy, you should totally buy it. And of course, you should only buy one because it's a unique model and you can only take one. So
Mhm.
definitely buy one. And though I would leave painting it until later. Okay, Nagash
Yeah.
hates him for the denial of the casting, but he can still be one shotted by Nagash's bad touch.
Yep.
Like
And Nagash is like a
anything
whole
in the game.
300 points more expensive than Teclis as well.
Yeah, like Nagash is like 1,000 points. So honestly, Teclis is in a good place compared to Nagash only because he's so much cheaper than Nagash. Teclis is gonna have a lot of problem with Archeon because Archeon does have like a lot of mortal wound canceling, and armies right now do struggle to deal with Archeon on the tabletop. Archeon is the god model to beat at the moment.
Did the recent FAQ fix that though? I know they reworked ward saves again a
Yeah,
second
but
time with an emergency FAQ, and that
yeah,
was to target
but
Archeon.
it doesn't matter as much because everything else, like
Mhm.
it made him less effective, but less effective is still like leaps
That's still
beyond
strong.
like beyond the other gods.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah,
The main power of Teclis though is his support spells. He's not really an attack caster, although he can be. But it's his protection of Teclis, which gives people 5+ ward save. He can cast that on a unit 18 inches away from himself.
Whew.
Yeah.
Well, okay, not one to complain. Nagash does have like a board wide commandability. So, but he's 1,000 points. Like I
Yeah.
paid for that. So
I don't see Teclis as much in the tournament lists anymore.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
mostly the Sentinel spam or the cavalry.
Teclis is about 600-ish points.
600-ish points. Okay,
Yeah,
see, that's not bad. Like, Archeon is around the 700-point range, I believe, and Nangash
somewhere
is
there. Yeah,
again 1,000 points.
nine
So
970 points. Yeah,
yeah, might as well
yeah, a
be a
thousand
thousand at this
points.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So let's move
Okay,
on.
we can move over. The
So the
other
Light
named
of
hero from the
Eltharion.
first wave, yeah, the Light of Eltharion. He's a unique model. He has an amazing sculpt because if you look at him, there is no elf in that armor. Um, Eltharion is another survivor, I suppose, of the old world who Teclis found and tried to reforge, tried to give him a new body, but unfortunately, Archon's curse on him kept breaking that body, right? So that 10,000-year-old curse is still in effect. Yeah, Spirit Armor Elf. Um, I've heard that some people are trying to run him like Gotrek now, and some people have run him alongside Gotrek. So 3.0 seems to have made him into a pretty good melee hero,
Mhm.
but in 2.0 he wasn't too often used. I guess the range has a lot of other good options, so he got passed up a lot, usually for wizards. But if you think he's cool, if you want to paint a piece of armor with no person in it and just
That's honestly
enjoy
pretty cool.
how the plastic puts it all together, the sprue fits all together, it is a glorious feat of engineering.
Yeah. Michael will answer the cost questions later in the start collecting section. So
Oh,
just ask
market price,
again.
yeah. We'll
Yeah.
we'll,
Yeah.
we'll, we'll go into that later.
Right. Here we go. The crying
Okay,
lady.
so the crying lady, Sonari Cathalar. So Sonari is the word or the part of Lumineth Society are the wizards. So whenever you see the Sonari keyword, that's a wizard. Um,
You're a wizard, are
this is
you?
another sculpt that's made for collectors. This is where a lot of the high level painters picked up. They picked her up. They they challenged themselves with the translucent cloth effects and
God,
everything.
that's so good. Honestly, I'm
Yeah,
not there yet. I'm honestly not there yet.
she's a very good key model for the army. She'll let you use your Aether Quartz with no ill effects, and she'll pass on those ill effects to the enemy units, deleting their bravery. So they will
Wow.
run away from you.
So you do drugs and your enemy takes the withdrawal.
Yep.
Whew. Okay.
This is the Elven drug bending unit.
Okay. Let me make like a ticker for that. Okay. So as it is here, it's a buy early and a buy once.
Yeah. And there's always a question mark here. There are some people who have two. That's really going to be up to you, I think, in your list building later. But for like when you're starting, you don't need more than one, I think.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair enough.
But not
And
a good unit to bring against OCRs because they don't make bravery checks.
right, like like Ozark no care. But Ozark is so shafted this edition that you won't really see them much.
You can at
And
least shoot them with arrows.
any leg up you give the Ozark player will be much appreciated. So please do bring it against the Ozark player out of pity. Ozarks
What
have
an
fallen
ask.
so hard. Yeah. Yeah, like could you mind like putting in a bit of handicap because G Dub hates me.
Okay.
Okay, now I see these played a lot.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do, I do. Like the
Okay.
mere fact that they're fast and that it's a wizard on like a fast platform.
That's true.
Yeah,
They do get more play than the kangaroos. I love the kangaroos, but these guys have the wizard.
yeah. I've never seen the kangaroos played. Like this is what I see a lot.
Mhm. The kangaroos got played a lot until the point changes happened in 3.0.
Ooh.
Yeah. But yeah, these guys. Did we skip the wardens?
No, we are not at the wardens yet. Like
Oh,
wardens are
okay. Oh,
after Sentinel
they really
finish.
showed up
Yep.
afterwards. Okay, okay. So let's go
Yeah.
back here. Sorry. So yeah, these guys are fast, hard hitting. They have sun metal weapons, which do mortal wounds. The
You
Venari, for the most part, will do mortal wounds on sixes. They have a wizard. They're a good unit.
yeah,
Buy
honestly,
them if you like them. Yeah,
I feel that's totally fair. It's a cavalry option. Doing mortal wounds and melee, totally fine. I feel like that's a nice way to go for a faction. It's really the mortal
it's
wounds
these
at
guys.
range I have an issue with.
It's these guys.
Gods,
So they are the
these
problem
guys.
child of the Lumineth. Like other Venari units, or most of them, their leader is also a wizard. And I guess the thing that Kesh will hate about this wizard is that this wizard exists to change the mortal wounds on six to mortal wounds on 5+.
Yes, Kesh does not like 5-6 when the elves are doing it.
These are a unit though that are a very key part of your battle line or part of your options. They are the linchpin of most scalpel tactics. So you'll want to get them early. You'll want to get at least 20 because a group of 10 won't really do it. Math wise, you won't get a lot of hits and damage in. So 20 is about just right. I've seen people put them in groups of 20, 30. Second edition, there were groups of 40, but because of reinforcements, you don't see that anymore.
Yeah, though a cash note is that buying more than 20 means you do lose all your friends. Also, look at those triple bowstrings. Those are dumb. Like real men shoot 3 arrows with one bowstring, like
Oh,
this
can you
man.
show us a real man? Yes.
Yes, that is the real man right there. He shoots 3 arrows with one bowstring. I feel like the Vanari were like, let us watch Bahubali and look. And they told Teclis, look, he was shooting 3 arrows with one bowstring, and Teclis was like high on drugs at the time. It's like, oh, cool, 1 arrow with 3 bowstrings. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So that's probably what happened there. But if you want to be a real man, you shoot 3 arrows with one bowstring, not 1 arrow with 3 bowstrings, like this man.
Yeah.
There we
Michael
go.
Lim's
I
asking
like
how
these
many are
guys.
in a box.
There are
When it
10, I
comes
believe.
to the Sentinels, there are 10 in a box. Wardens are also going to be 10 in a box. Wardens are the most important unit, I think. They're your battle line, and they make other units battle line. If you get one unit of Wardens in and you put it in your army, that unit allows you to bring a Sentinel unit or a Dawn Rider unit as battle line.
Ooh, nice,
Yeah.
sexy.
So I like this because I play KO. I'm stuck with battle line Arcanauts. I cannot change that unless I pick a Skyport. But here it's natively built into the Warden unit.
I love how the unlocking battle line is tied into another battle line instead of being tied into like a hero unit. Like
Yes,
certain heroes unlocking certain battle line. This is like a battle line unlocking more battle
other
line.
battle line. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it really highlights the elf sort of Greek citizen army style of combined arms. So
Yeah,
their
I
leader is
totally
also a
dig it.
wizard. Yeah, their leader is also a wizard. Um, they don't do well in blocks of 10, so you might want to get at least two. They do quite well with blocks of 20 because they have Shining Company, and even if they're in a block of 20, their spear's reach is so long that those 20 can hit you if you charge into them.
Yeah, honestly, the 3-inch reach is kind of like a what from GWS. Like most spears that are even longer than this, like only reach 2 inches right now for other factions. But I do
Are there
love
are there
their.
spears that are longer than these guys? These guys have long spears.
I believe the OCR cavalry spears are as long.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
lances should be hitting pretty far.
lances. Yeah, but
Yeah,
lances are only 2 inches. So
let me
that's
check
generally
if
my
they are
only
actually.
issue with this unit. But I love the whole
Yeah,
the whole phalanx team where if they're in base contact they get like bonuses.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, these
So
guys I have zero problem with. You spam these, no problem.
most lists I'm seeing now are spamming these and not the Sentinels.
Mm,
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
they still have that block of 20 Sentinels or 30 Sentinels, but these are the ones that get spammed in 20 and 30 blocks.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Okay.
not this
So
guy.
now we're hitting Alarith. Okay, go on.
Right. So
You
he's a
looked like you were
cow.
about to say something.
He's a cow. I
He's a
love it.
cow, yeah.
He's a cow.
So the Alarith are the first temple, the mountain temple, the earthbenders, the cow worshippers. It's another really cool sculpt. You see him meditating on a platform that's balancing on a really like thin, um, like rune stone. There's a tree growing out of it that's on a piece of land that's floating, and then you get your base at the bottom. Right? It takes a
Right.
long time to get to that base. Um,
Like holy shit! Like transporting this model is a pain.
he's only about maybe he's not so big. Maybe about this big.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
one solid like
That's
piece
smaller
up.
than I thought.
Yeah, he's an infantry size unit, so that's
Yeah,
okay.
but if you snap that off, that's gonna be like a bitch to glue back
Uh,
together.
Lumineth, I think, is an exercise in um, please pin your models.
Okay. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
So when should
um,
we buy this? Like, why
buy
should
it
we buy this?
if you like cows. Buy him because his synergy with the spirit of the mountain and with the stone guard is needed for them to survive.
Okay, so he's an automatic buy because you should be buying cows because cows are best. Yeah.
Yes.
Here we
And
go.
here are the cows, right? The Alarith Stone Guard are the monks of the mountain temples. They attack with large mallets or diamond picks, which are not shown in the picture. They move very slowly, but they hit hard and they tank hard. And they have an ability where, after the combat phase, if you're in front of them, they can use the earth and push you back.
Okay,
Right? So
Michael
pushback
comments
phases.
that they are horny priests, and do note that they were taken from the stomach of Slanesh. So
Yep.
do with that what you will.
Buy these if you like cows. If you play the Nation of Yometrica, they are battle line.
Yeah, Metrica, fuck yeah, guys. So definitely get these. They are cows.
Yeah. Um,
And it's weird that they have cow killing mallets right there.
that's exactly what those are.
Those
having
exactly what those
having
are, right?
having lived on a ranch, that's exactly what those are.
Yeah, that's what you use to stun the cow, like before you kill it. So, gods.
Well, no, you don't. It's what you use to kill the cow. You have to kill the cow in one hit,
Oh, okay,
or
okay.
the meat
That's much
spoils.
better.
Yeah,
That's much better, actually. Like I've also seen like people who shock the cow.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's also some sheds where you bring them in, and then there's a machine on top, the hydraulic machine.
yeah, yeah.
It
It
goes
gives a
like that.
chook.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Ah.
big cow,
The big cow
mountain
is the
cow.
spirit of the mountain. These are the spiritual avatars of actual mountains. On their shoulder is
Oh
supposed to be like a
shit!
miniature representation of the mountain they're actually from. And these are what the small cows all worship. Oh, not
Oh
worship.
god! Oh shit! Oh shit!
It's not
I love it.
worshiping. It's more they work together with it. They tend to the mountain. They try not to be dicks to the mountain.
Right. If I weren't already like committed to Nagash and like have a strong hatred of the Sentinels, I would definitely jump into this just for the entire cow shtick.
I'm hoping there's
Though
a
I
Christmas
would like,
box for cows
yeah, Christmas box for cows. Come on,
because
G
they're
Dub,
not
give us a
selling
cow
so well
box.
right now. The cows, they're the least popular of the Lumineth at the moment, but they're
Yes,
so good.
right.
Um,
So yeah, so you buy this if you want cows, and you buy
yep,
it 1 to 3 times,
1 to 3 times
and
because two of them can be your mountain guys, and one can be the named character,
oh, I see, I see.
Avalanor. Yeah.
Okay. And guys, just as a note, this model can be dry aged for up to 28 days for maximum flavor. So
Mhm.
that's just something for you to note. You need to have a separate refrigerator just for the dry aging. Otherwise, it'll stink up the entire ref. So heads up.
Yep, yep. They're
The
the only
spell,
monster I think in Lumineth also,
they
other than
are, they are.
Selenar. Yeah. Okay. And the spells, buy them if you run Techless because he wants that Rune of Petrification.
Yeah, it's this one,
Endless
right?
Spells got their points bumped up a lot though, so it's uh it's a mixed bag now. The twin spell stones aren't as good anymore, but they're still good. They're still okay.
Yeah, Michael's like they come in pine scents.
That
Yeah, they
that's
do look
yep,
like air fresheners.
yep.
Yeah,
You only need to buy this once. Yeah. Okay, wave two happened. Most armies get their wave twos 3 or 4 years, sometimes 12 years after their first release.
12
Lumineth got
years. Yeah,
theirs 6 months later.
yeah, just like a Sigmarine.
Yeah. This one comes with much more heroes. The round out your hero count. There's more Venari, and then we get the second temple, which is the Hurricane or Wind Temple. Oh, and then we get the faction terrain, which is great.
Yeah, the faction terrain is sick. I'm in love with it. I will get it
Yeah.
eventually, just to corrupt it for Nagash, but we'll get to that. Right,
Okay,
tell us
so
about this one.
one of the big heroes that came out is the Venari Lord Regent, or Lirior Uthrail, who is a named hero from the Broken Realms Techless storyline. Um, One of the great generals of Yometrica. This is the because we otherwise you have lots of wizards. This is your dude's melee hero. This is the melee hero that you can name, that you can make your own. Um, and he works really well with other Venari. So if you're a big fan of the Venari aesthetic and Greek citizen soldier sort of motif, you get him. He'll vibe really well with them. You only need to buy it once unless you're a collector and you want both the named hero and the other hero. Right?
Okay,
Good
so
mounted
next
hero.
is this one. Yes, the
This is the
Oblation
Venari
banner.
Banner Blade with the Noblation banner. That's right.
Yes.
Big banners make everyone braver, and that's exactly what he does. He's an infantry melee hero with a big banner. All Venari around him get a bravery boost. So I suppose this is like a replacement for the Cathalar. The Cathalar will prevent you from losing bravery when you take Aether Quartz, but he will just buff up your bravery, so then you can just go back to normal.
Yeah, I think that's more important effect considering there are other things that debuff your bravery,
Yeah.
like being in close proximity to zombies or skeletons. That's an automatic -1 to your bravery per.
So he'll boost up the bravery of
Yeah,
those units. I
yeah,
think you
and
only need to buy him
considering.
once.
Hmm? Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually fine. And you should definitely buy him if you like big banners and if you are from UP because he does have the oblation banner. Literally like the oblation statue on his banner. Like that is not Photoshop. That's the real thing.
It's
So
very close.
yeah, it's very close. Like the real thing actually does have oblation on it. You can Google it to see what it actually looks like. I should have
Yep.
put in like an
A
animation
side by
effect
side
to like show. Yeah,
comparison,
yeah.
but it's basically that.
Yeah, it's the same picture if you've seen that meme.
Yep.
Right.
This is the Star Shard Ballista, which is a very cool looking model. You get very larger than life arrows. You put them through the ballista, they fire out. It's not as good as Sentinels, I feel, but Sentinels are broken.
Yeah. If you actually want a ranged unit and not be a dickhead, you can get these instead of sentinels. And they actually have a better arrow to bowstring ratio with 2 arrows to 3
Three.
bowstrings, which
Yeah.
is still really bad, guys. But you know, it's better than 3:1.
Well, they're also larger arrows, so I think the more bowstrings helps with the largeness. But yeah,
Yeah,
if you like artillery, you can buy these.
definitely. I really love this model aside from the whole bowstring thing. Oh, the
Okay.
Blade Lords,
Blade
the
Lords are
Sword
weird
Masters of Hoeth.
because everyone was hyped up about having sword masters again, but these are the only Venari that don't have mortal wound output.
What?
They don't have sun metal.
Nani sore? How?
So
Why?
I don't know why they chose not to, because the Underworld's warband Blade Lord does have a Sun Metal blade. These guys don't.
Tyrion, what the fuck, man?
And Tyrion's busy doing a secret project. He forgot about the Sun Metal for these guys.
Like, what the
Um,
hell is Tyrion up to? Like, Teclis is dicking around and fucking over the faction, and then, like, turning everyone into Zen hippies and going into rehab and counseling. And Tyrion is just like, hmm,
he's just doing his own thing. Um, I think he's working with Malarian on something, but they don't really talk about that.
with Uncle Mal. Okay.
Yeah. These
Which is
guys,
weird.
though, are bodyguards.
Yeah.
So
It's
they
so
will
weird
protect your wizards. Oh, go on.
considering, yeah, considering like it was Teclis who was working with Uncle Mal in the old world, and Tyrion was really pissed off about Teclis working with Uncle Mal.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Tyrion is the one who ends up marrying Mal's mother. Now he's working with
Yeah, and
Mal.
like and turning into the avatar of freaking Kane.
Yeah.
And like Mal was the one who actually became the one true Phoenix King, which I love the twist, by the way. Like,
Yeah,
you
that
only
was a fun
failed
twist.
because you didn't stay in the fire long enough.
You left too soon. Oh my
Yeah, you
goodness.
left too soon. You were the one true king.
That must have been a fun revelation at the end of the world.
Yeah, and I believe that triggered every single FF player like watching us right,
Oh
including me.
yeah,
That
my
sound.
wife's sound. Yeah. These guys become battle line if you have a Sonari wizard.
Okay,
Yeah,
so if you have Crying Lady, these become battle line.
1-to-1 ratio. So Crying Lady, one of these is battle line.
Okay,
Calagrave,
okay.
one of these is battle line. Yeah, but yeah, they don't have Sun Metal. It's weird. This is now the Sonari Calagrave. He's the guy that works through the Elven rune magic. So again, they're like dwarves. I don't know why the dwarves became a fast, highly mobile army. Then the elves became this
Dwarves.
tanky dwarf
Sh-
army. It's weird.
Yeah,
So
with
he, yeah,
shooting and artillery.
yeah. He's the guy that works the elven rune magic that helps Teclis burn runes into the land so that they can be stabilized and reclaimed from chaos and Nagash. Um,
Like, I did
he's
nothing
the
wrong.
cheapest wizard option for the heroes at the moment. So you can get him if you like budget heroes, budget wizards. I've seen a list that has two of them, so that does come up every now and then.
Yeah, and I do not recommend this guy for the main reason that he is so bourgeois that he has to wear super high heels so that the dirty earth doesn't touch him.
He doesn't like the earth.
Yeah, he's like, I don't like sand. Though to be fair, neither do I. It's coarse and it's rough and it's irritating and it does get everywhere.
You have to wash it out. It takes a few days. Yeah.
Right?
Okay, this is Scenari Lore Seeker. This was potentially another problem child of the Lumineth. Um, he begins the game and immediately claims a neutral objective, and he can hold that objective by himself pretty well because he gets buffs for being alone. Um,
Emo.
he he's like a what's this? He represents a melding of the Tyrionic and the Teclian side. So he's a fighter wizard. So if you like red mages, this is the guy you buy. You should
He's
probably buy
also
him because he's
yeah,
gonna take the objectives. Yeah,
and he's a lore master of Hoeth. So
yeah. He's the new lore master of Hoth.
yeah, he does unlock the Blade Lords, right? Because he's a Scenari hero.
Yes, he is Scenari
Okay.
keyword, so he will unlock a Blade Lord
Yeah,
unit.
and this had a whole hullabaloo because it didn't have unique, and then now it has unique until it gets fact again. So yeah, like buy just one just in case. Like, you don't want to buy multiples in case,
It it was such a strange thing because the FAQ came out on Friday. The the General's Handbook came out on Saturday, and it did not have a unique keyword for him. So because it came later, it counted.
yeah,
And
it
then a few months
superseded the
later, they
fact.
were like, nope, nope, we're not allowing this. They reprinted the fact, and it went back up as
Yeah.
unique.
You see, the thing with this is that it's such a good effect that even though in lore he should not be unique, in gameplay he has to be unique.
Yeah,
Otherwise, they'll just like spam it, take all the neutral objectives, and make an already broken faction really, really broken.
yeah. It also
Okay.
prevents you from giving him magic items, which will help him stay solo on that
Yeah,
objective.
yeah,
So
I get that.
yeah,
So
yeah,
he has a really good effect, but G-Dub actually wants to keep him balanced and that he's killable.
yeah.
Your
Okay.
twins.
Yeah, I actually have these ones. They're too far away for me to reach though. But this is Elenia and Elathor. These are the personal students of Teclis and Tyrion, who they feel best embody what they were in life. The problem was that they let that get to their heads too much, and the other Lumineth found their perfection very annoying, and so they didn't want to work with them. So Teclis was like, "Ah, okay." Actually, wait, I think it was Tyrion because Tyrion is interestingly the smarter one of the two. Tyrion
Really
went
not.
up to them and was like, "Okay, guys, you're causing this problem. I need you to go out into the world and help people." And they were like, "Sure, we can do that." But his real purpose was he wanted them to go out in the world so that they could learn to deal and talk with people and not just be arrogant super
Little
twins.
elves. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And Teclis, come on. Like this is not what you were in life. You had asthma. You could not vault shit. Like
Yeah.
come on, Teclis. What happened to that like
Teclis is a god now.
psychiatrist
He's going to be what he
humility?
wants to be.
Whatever
Um,
happened to like the humility he found from his Sphinx therapist? Come on. This is not what he was in life.
yeah.
The dude was
Well,
raised in
Teclis,
Vegeta.
like the rest of Lumineth, is a work in progress. Michael is asking how we can use them in his Seraphon army. They
Yes.
will fill into your allies list. That you can use them. They'll go into any order army. They count as a wizard, and they have a magic weapon that gets stronger the longer the game goes. So in turn 3 and 4, they can shoot like a sunbeam through many units, or they can target a unit with a sunbeam that's going to be souped up because they've been on the board for 3 or 4 turns, and it'll obliterate something. But you have to keep them alive up to that point.
So they're actually meant to ally because like Tyrion sent them out into the world to like learn.
Yeah,
Okay, that's actually pretty cool. Like they're meant to be allies because that's what they were in Fluff. And they have an
yeah.
owl. I
They have
love
an
an
owl. Yeah.
owl.
So they show up
Yeah.
in Broken Realms, Techless, and I think a little bit in Bellacore, but I'm not. Maybe just the short stories of Bellacore, and they're
Hmm.
helping the Dwarden, the Caradron figure out that there's a problem, which is Neferata doing something in the Spiral Crux.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is definitely buy one off, especially if you play. Well, this is a buy one off if you play another army, right?
Yeah, you can also just buy one of them if you play Order. They'll just fit in your
Yeah.
Order army. Yeah,
And also a buy one if you like owls because owls. I personally don't like this the uniform that the Blade Lords and Alanya have. It's kind of fugly.
you know what it
Like
is? It looks like a
what is it?
Caradron Aether suit, like not Aether suit, but the one that Arcanauts wear.
Oh, the
It's like a flight
undersuits.
suit.
Yeah, it's a
It's like
flight
a
suit.
flight suit. Yeah,
All right, so they are dwarves.
basically, the new elves are
Yeah.
dwarves.
I mean, I do love like Elathor's armor. Like it's pretty
Mhm.
cool, except for that banner that's totally like why?
It's so that she can step on it.
I guess, but can't she step on the sword? That's like the traditional like mounting for something like
Well, that's
this.
true, right? They're an
Okay.
interesting unit. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the owl, but I don't like the outfit. Like I'd have preferred like flowy robes. It would have looked really cool on like something this
Let's.
dynamic.
Yeah.
Oh yes, Son Goku.
Speaking of flowing robes, though, here's your flyer with the cape and the robes. This is the Hurricane Wind Mage. We're now in the Air Temple. The Airbenders are here. This is a flying wizard. He has a nice Nimbus cloud. If you like anime cloud riding, um,
Yeah,
and you're planning
definitely
to
paint
take
this like
foxes,
yellow.
if you plan to take foxes, or I guess I can't remember what his buffs are, but a flying wizard is always useful. Buy him.
All right. You know why this is in Teclis's faction? Because the Nimbus Cloud is the staple of really bad dads.
That's yeah,
Yeah, we're just
yeah.
gonna say it. Son Goku is a bad dad, and
He's
it's
one of
the
the most
uncles who
terrible
end up
dads.
praising everyone, like Piccolo and Tyrion.
Yep.
Yep. All right, the
Here's
kangaroos.
my favorite.
I don't
The
see these
Hurricane
guys
Wind
played.
Chargers. I love them because they're not horses. If you grew up on a ranch, high likelihood you'll also not like horses because horses are bad. Um,
Why do you hate horses?
have you ever been held by a horse against an electric fence?
No, I don't think that's a normal
That's what
experience.
horses do.
Okay, I now understand your hatred for horses.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. I understand.
These guys are cool. The mounts are called tree runners. They bounce around and they can run really fast, and they're they're based off of, I guess, Parthian archers, right, from that era of history. The Parthian shot. They'll shoot at you and then
Yeah,
they'll try to move out of the way. Um,
yeah,
but they
and the
don't
whole
have a
Cantabrian
wizard.
circle and stuff.
Yeah, they don't have a wizard because they're not Venari,
You know what I like
and
about these guys?
they have normal bows.
I know that's the best part. They have one
That's the
bowstring,
best part.
like,
They have one
and they have
bowstring.
recurve bows, which is like very
That's true.
fluffy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They're ranged
Yes, Michael.
cavalry,
They are
Michael.
range
Correct.
cavalry. Yes.
So they
Well,
they move fast. They shoot fast. In
yeah,
Helon, they can move again and play keep away.
yeah. They are the new Illyrian Reavers.
But what most people end up taking is this.
The
So
Fox.
if you really don't want friends, you can have 4 to 5 of these in a list. Um, and it's quite gross because this is how you tie down your opponent and prevent them from doing anything in the game. These are the
Yes.
foxes. They during the movement phase, if they move over your unit, they will damage you. In the shooting phase, they'll shoot you. In the combat phase, they'll charge and attack you. And then after all of that, they'll move away.
Yep. These
Yep.
guys are like the dickiest of the dicks. They're not as dicky as Sentinels because they won't like erase your chance of winning on turn one, but they are still pretty dick. And yes, Michael, like, do note the cash note. Good luck with transportation if you do get five because you won't have any friends to help you do the transport. Like, can you help me with that? No.
And you need your friends because you need help transporting your wardens, who are the worst to transport.
Yeah, those spikes. Gods, those
Yep. All the
spikes.
pikes.
Yeah. And honestly, that alarm just keeps making me want to pray return to the waking sands. All right. So here we go. This is it.
Ah,
This
the
is
Shrine
it.
Luminar. If you're playing Lumineth, buy it. You can garrison 1 wizard. If you're not playing Lumineth, buy it. You can take the shrine off. You can make it a separate piece, and you can put it on and off. You have an instant metalith to use with your Dawnbringer Crusades and anything else you want to use it for, your terrain,
Yeah.
narrative photographing, what have you.
I'm gonna make this shit weep blood in the name of Nagash. Like, it's on my list. Maybe like January or February, but this is on my list. Like, I love it
You
so
really like
much.
taking you really like taking order terrain pieces and making them into Nagash pieces, don't you?
I mean, Nagash should own everything, so I mean, I did that to like Sigmar Storm Vaults, and so why not, right? And I mean, like, wouldn't this look so cool, like Weeping Blood,
Yeah, it would.
right? Like that, just like pour contrast over it, and you're done,
One whole bottle.
right? It's just like Blood Angels Red or Flesh Terrors Red, then you're done.
Yeah. In the game, what this does is it increases the range of your wizards. So
Yeah. I have actually heard of this. It used to be problematic, but not so much anymore.
Not
Especially
really
since,
anymore.
things
Monsters can
can
just
destroy
destroy it
terrain.
now.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep. Oh, that was what made the foxes before super bad. They natively destroy terrain.
yeah. I heard.
Yeah. But now everyone can do it, so
Hmm.
except Caradron, we don't have monsters.
You know what's really annoying? That one Mega Gargant whose entire shtick was destroying terrain, and now everyone can destroy terrain.
Yep,
Like,
yep, yep.
and he's the only one that Death can get, and I'm like, thanks, G Dub. If you didn't hate me enough, you gave me the worst Gargant. All
Alas.
right.
Okay, where are we
Okay, I think
now?
that's it. Oh, here,
Okay.
the your favorite slide.
Oh, yeah. So we're just reiterating rule of cool: play what you want, even if it hurts Kesh, which
No,
this many
don't do that.
Sentinels will. But to be fair, it will also hurt you because you're painting all of them.
Yeah, and it will hurt all your friends because they won't want to play with you anymore.
Yeah,
Like honestly, just don't bring this many sentinels, fam. Like
yeah.
unless you're
It's
playing a tournament. Like if you're playing a tournament, aim to win, go ahead. Like I don't mind.
yeah.
But if you're like bringing this against like a friend or like a
Or narrative
newbie
campaign.
or narrative gods, if you bring this much
No,
like sentinels in a narrative campaign, you're gonna get kicked out of your play group. Holy shit,
no,
man.
don't want it.
Yeah. Like even in our narrative campaign build, people are focusing on narrative builds. So Eric, you're doing like a narratively built Caradron, right?
Yep. My
Yeah,
my Sons of Bugman
yeah. I'm
archaeologist
doing
expedition company.
undead elves for my Tale of Enwar Lord's army.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. So it's gonna be vampire elves and undead skeletal elves, and they're just gonna be marching around like seeking revenge on like the Lumineth who they feel like betrayed them for some insane reason. So
Were they pre reinvention? Were they ever Lumineth, or are they from like the past?
they
Are
are
they
high
the dead
elves.
elves?
They are the dead
Like
elves. Like you're
from the
trying to be
apocalypse?
us, but we are still
Ah,
us. And like we tried to reach out. No, you're undead. We don't like you. Like yo. So that's
I
their
dig it. I
entire
dig it.
stick. Yeah. So they are the blood elves.
Michael Lim doesn't want friends. Cash. Take a look at his comment.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, Michael Lim doesn't want friends. You see, that is why you are alone in Pangasinan with no one to play with, Michael.
Oh, ouch.
Please do not do this. Like, you will find it harder to find people to play with. Like, if you want to start a community, do not start with Sentinels plus Fox. Start with
But play
cows
what you
because
want.
yeah, play what you want in tournaments. That's a huge disclaimer in tournaments. Gods. No, Michael, no! Don't do it! I mean, I will sell them to you, but I will cry salty tears while I sell them to you. Like, Kesh does not say no to money. Alright, so
All right.
Lumineth
Oh,
is
okay.
confusing because there are 3 books.
Because
So,
they came
Eric,
out
take
so
it away.
rapidly. Yeah, so your first purchase is probably going to be the Battle Tome. If you are one of those people who are still able to find, and there's quite a lot of them in the wild still, though, the Lumineth limited
Battle
edition
box, yeah.
box, you'll get a special edition book that will just have the first wave in it. All you need to do if you have that is buy Broken Realms tech list, and you'll have the second wave. But you'll also have a book with a really cool story about the elves fighting Nagash. Um, it's quite fun. I like it.
It's
I'm
not a
not sure
good
Kesh likes
story.
the outcome.
Nagash got like shafted. It's a bad book, guys. Don't buy it. Just buy the new book. Like it has all the rules in it.
But if you're a
Like
completely new player, or you're someone who wants all the rules in a single tome, get
yeah,
the brand new one with the Blade Lord on the
yeah.
front.
We pretend that Broken Realms tech list does not exist. Yeah. This is a bad book with bad lore.
It's quite good lore.
They shafted our boy Arkan. Arkan did nothing wrong.
No, Arkan deserved it. Eltharion waited 10,000 years to kick Arkan into that pit.
Okay, first of all, Eltharion was a dick to start with.
That's true.
Yeah, like Eltharion got what he deserved in the old world. Like,
Yeah. But one of my
yeah, he
favorite
was
moments
pretty
is
much an
really
asshole of an elf.
when Arkan reached out into this empty armor to try hand and dust him, and he was like, "There's nothing in here for me to
Yeah,
hand the dust."
and then Eltharion's like, all is dust. So Eltharion basically is a rubric marine. Yeah, Eltharion's a thousand son. Wait, that means he did nothing wrong.
Yep.
Damn. Okay,
Eltharion did nothing
this is
wrong.
like no. There are thousand sons who did nothing who did things wrong, like Ariman. It's Magnus who did nothing wrong. So Eltharion did wrong. Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. But if you look at his helmet, that's totally like a thousand sons headdress. Okay. So, Buyer's Guide to Lumineth for Warcry. You
Ooh.
should definitely start with the Sentinels and the Wardens to just get
Mhm.
like battle line in. But
Yeah.
then you can literally get anything you want that isn't like a big cow or a big fox or techless because like most of it is inside the thing.
Is in work. Yeah.
And
And
excuse
the
you, Michael, we are all nerds here. We did
and the
nothing wrong.
Warcry rules for Lumineth are free
Yes, they
on
are.
Warcom.
So if you're looking for what units to go into your Warcry warband,
Mhm.
definitely Google up the Warhammer community free Lumineth rules
Mhm.
and just choose from there. Since they do have large selections and it's like Soulbright Grave Lords. And I do wish they do that for all the factions, just PDFs, because it will make it easier for people to choose what they want to buy in terms of models.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, Buyer's Guide to Lumineth in AOS. You
Okay.
definitely should start with the Wardens since they do unlock a bunch of other battle line. And then you have to decide where you go. You have to decide if you want a Sentinel spam, though you should probably get at least 20 Sentinels
Yeah.
just because. And then you can decide if you want to go like a Techless build, if you want to go a Fox build, if you want to do a Cow build. Of course, we're using Cow pictures from Bahubali because it's one of the best movies ever. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It's on Netflix, and then we can spaz about it. And then, of course, you should be getting one of
One of
Mister
those.
Not
Yeah.
Lore Master of Hoeth, and it really depends on what you want to build. You can build the cavalry if you don't hate horses like Erich. Otherwise, you can build kangaroos. You can build like sentinel spam if you're a dick, or like lots of foxes if you're a bigger dick. You
Mhm.
can play like a gigantic like a gigantic phalanx of pikes, and like never ever want to transport your army again. But it's really up to you guys. Um, the thing with Lumineth is like everything in their book is viable. So
And I wish that was true
yeah,
for every book,
all faction, yeah.
right?
Soul Blight was really close. We have one dud unit, which is the Black Knights. Everything else is useful.
Are the Black Knights the White Knights?
No, the Black
Or
Knights are the skeleton cavalry.
the not whites, but
The
skeleton.
whites went all the way into Night Hunt.
No. Okay.
Yeah, the wraiths went into Night Hunt, and the skeleton cav went into Soulbright Grave Lords.
Yeah, yeah.
And unfortunately, they're just not very good, and they are totally outclassed by the existence of Blood Knights,
Which are sold out everywhere
which are sold out everywhere.
because they're that
And
good.
their role is even overtaken by fell bats. Like the bats do their job better than they do.
Ooh.
Yeah, and luckily there's nothing with that in Lumineth. Like everything is usable. And you should especially get that terrain piece. That is so good. Like
We
if you
forgot to put that
message
on
me
this
right now,
buyer's guide. Yeah.
yeah, right. If you actually like message me after the stream and like, Cash, you have sold me on that piece of terrain. Like after this plague is done and we can finally like see people again, I will hug you if you show me that painted terrain. Like it's just it's so good. Like I love it. Like you can tell Cash loves terrain, territories, stuff like that. I promise I am not British. Okay. So
Okay. Oh,
as a
so
regular portion of our stream, we do feature people's painted armies. Unfortunately, Eric has only one painted Lumineth, which we've seen before, so we're just gonna put it here again.
yeah,
But he
I
did
think
a
because they
really good
released
job
during
with
the
this.
pandemic, right?
Yeah, yeah,
That we really don't have a lot of painted Lumineth in the city at the moment.
yeah. Because people aren't pressured to paint them because like there are no games going on.
Yeah. Although, if you really want to bring those Sentinels, you have to start early. You will need the whole pandemic to do that.
Yeah, that's very true. Unless you have it commissioned or something.
No, it's
And
true.
honestly, you did a really great job with this fall theme. Uh, I remember you wanted to do one for each season.
Oh, I was going to. Yeah, I was thinking that either the army would be different, like different seasons, but I was also thinking of the the Sentinels themselves in blocks of 10, 10 green, 10 orange, 10 red. I don't hate myself enough to paint that much yellow, so not 10 yellow. At most, right? At most, I'm going to ever hit 30 Sentinels. I don't think I ever will hit 30 Sentinels, but I wanted them to be that way so they could look like a pile of leaf litter together.
Honestly, the yellows aren't so bad since we now have contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it was before and we had to suffer through using Averland Sunset. Yeah. Oh gosh.
Oh, thank
And
you, Mikey.
yeah, he's just like commenting on your leaves. Like honestly, those leaves are awesome. Like where'd you get the leaves?
These are Green Stuff World leaves.
Oh, I see, I see. I
Yeah,
thought you
they
sculpted
just
them yourself.
no. I'm not that good.
Like honestly, one of these days we'd love to feature all the terrain you've painted. Like you and Doctor Go are our most prolific terrain painters, while DJ is our most prolific terrain builder.
Hmm.
So
I'm
like we'd
enjoying
love to
getting
see
the
all your terrain.
Warcry terrain slowly done because they look really nice when you put the board together.
Yeah, my
And it's
favorite part
becoming less
about
and less
this is like
gray.
the beheaded Sigmar, because like that's the way Sigmar should be beheaded.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean he's a bad dad, he's a bad bro. He also has a simp. So he's
Groom me.
basically the Duterte of this setting.
Actually, most of the
And
Order gods are like really bad parents.
they are. Like the entire G Dub shtick is bad dads. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so now we're going to calendar Sama. And according to Eric, it should be Sama because because of the Lumineth Realm Lords. So alright. So today we had our faction focus Lumineth. We may be moving our D&D starting out special to another day. So wait for an announcement on that. But next week we will have our faction focused Adeptus Mechanicus. We do have one guest slated so far, which is Boy. If you
Hmm.
know Boy, Boy will be joining us, and he's actually played Adeptus Mechanicus in tournaments a lot since he started playing at the tender age of what, 12, 13?
He'll
Yeah,
have a lot more detailed information than I was able to bring today.
yeah, like boy is not actually a boy anymore. Like he's apparently as tall as me now because the pandemic like robbed us of 2 years, and I'm still in shock. And on the 25th, we will have our big army primer where we discuss the various big army games like Warhammer Age of Sigmar, Warhammer 40K, Star Wars Legion, War Machine, Hordes, etc. And we're going to be doing that in the same way we did our skirmish primer. And if you haven't seen that, it's available on YouTube and on our Facebook. So YouTube is actually the best place to get it. And if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch, and like all of our social media, particularly
All
on
over there.
YouTube, so that again, that it's all there above. And in particular, please do follow us on YouTube so that Mikey can finally get paid and I can finally get paid. So like once we get to 1,000 subs, we can finally monetize. So please do like and subscribe. Have your parents like and subscribe. Create Chinese dummy farm accounts and like and subscribe.
When are you
And that
revealing October's schedule?
we're revealing October schedule next week.
Okay.
Like
During
we're
Adeptus
just figuring
Mechanicus.
out. Yeah, we're just figuring out the during the big army primer actually. We're
Oh,
just
okay.
figuring out the scheduling for the Saturdays, but I can tell you some of it right now. On October 1, where our faction focus is actually like set. Our faction focus 1 on October 1 is going to be Night Hunt. Then we're going to
Mhm.
have our faction focus Orcs with our special guest uh, Dre, who was an Orc player from the olden days but then stopped and he never really got started actually. So our format this time around is less gonna be like Dre sharing his expertise, but us selling stuff to Dre. So Dre, this is what you should buy, and he has
Here are
volunteered
some. Yeah.
himself and his wallet for this episode. So and then we're gonna have the faction focus Orc Warclans, which we do hope John will be joining us for. I have to ask him pa, but you know, like we if you can help me pressure him into like coming on stream, that'd be great.
You should make
Like
it
tell
the
him
same
he yeah.
format as the other one, where you're just selling to him the whole
Yes,
time.
definitely we should do that. We should definitely do that.
Yeah.
So it's October, so we have to have like the orcs. But it's also horror month, so we have like two death and an integral aspect of horror is also the Lovecraftian horror. That's why we're also having the Gene Stealer cults on the 22nd.
Mhm.
And hopefully that we will be joined by our friend Tits. And then on the 29th, we will like close to Halloween is of course gonna be Soul Blight Gravelords, where Kesh just like nagash simps the entire time. Yeah, but like you probably heard all of my input and gripes about Soul Blight Gravelords like throughout the various streams. But that's gonna collate it for anyone who wants to start it, even from the Vexed Village Lost box. So thanks everyone for coming in, for watching, and thank you Eric for joining us this week. We hope to see you again when we do Caradron probably in
When we
November.
have an episode I can actually talk about in full.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
We're gonna do and with more pictures hopefully. Yes,
Oh, I actually do have a third of
a
that
lot of
army
painted
painted
characters.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see like Caradron in your background right now.
Just to hammer it in, yes.
Yeah, and Michael, I'll actually like detail how you can start SBGL
Mhm.
from Christ City.
Yeah. You
So
can definitely do a
yeah,
war cry already from Curse
yeah,
City.
yeah.
Yeah.
We built a Warcry warband with just the stuff from Curse City in our Warcry episode. So that's the thing you
Mhm.
can actually do. So if you want to bring it up to the next level, we'll walk you through that.
We just have to pray for Blood Knights to come out again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Like Blood Knights, they will come again. I believe they should be out in like a couple of oh god, we're getting bots.
We're getting bots from Twitch now.
We're getting Twitch bots asking us to buy followers. We don't buy followers, guys. Come on.
You make the followers pay you money
Yes, yes.
instead.
Yes, that is not how we do business. All right. So once again, thank you everyone for joining us. Have a good night. Have a great weekend and do not spam sentinels. Kesh and Eric out
Bye
and
bye.
good night.